Hi everyone, I just wanted to do a bit of an army showcase today. This is a recently completed project that I've done, which is a US Army, 1,000 points. It's a US Airborne reinforced platoon based in Normandy. It's taken from the D-Day campaign book on the US sector. So this is an overview of the completed army, and then we'll go into detail on each unit by unit. Okay, the first team we're going to focus on is the lieutenant option, or the lieutenant option. It's the command section basically for the platoon. I've gone for 6 men in this platoon because you can have the option of 1 officer plus a further 5 men. They can all be armed with whatever is depicted on the models. So I've gone for a variety of SMGs and a couple of rifles and a carbine. You can equip these with anti-tank grenades if you want for two points per model. I've chosen not to go with that option for this list, but you could mix and match if you wanted to. So let's have a little closer look at some of the figures themselves. So I think most of them are standard out of the box made ones. There's this guy here I'm just bringing to the front. He's an officer. I've gone for him as the lieutenant. Pointy guy. Most people do that, I think. Then you've got behind him, you've got the prone guy who's laying prone. He's just a rifleman. And then beside him you have a chap with another rifle who is, I'll just twist him round. He's leaning into his magazine pouch, or feeling for his magazine pouch to try and reload. And then behind him we have a chap with a pistol. I'll bring him up a bit, focus. He's got a pistol and a carbine, so I've given him both on that one. Then the next guy kneeling down, he's got a carbine as well, as you can see. Metal stock parachute carbine, I believe. And then this guy running has got an SMG. So that's that's the command section. 6-man command section, like I said, is straight out of the book. So you can choose this out of the D-Day sector for the Americans for the Normandy campaign. So let's have a look at some more. Okay, so next up we've got the first of the parachute infantry squads. This is a 7-man team, and you can have up to I think it's 10 men you can have up to in that section, but I've chosen to go with the 7 to represent kind of like the Normandy sort of feel, that there would have been people lost or indeed who didn't survive the drop. So I've gone for 7 men. That makeup of that 7-man squad is the guy at the front pointing. He is the squad leader, or the NCO. You've then got 4 guys in addition to that with rifles and carbines. And then slap bang in the centre you will see there's an LMG team there. And that comprises of the 7 models for that. I'll just show you a quick close-up of a couple of them. I won't do them all. So this chap has the carbine, just a normal run-of-the-mill, off-the-sprue US Airborne. It's got a couple of grenades there. NCO, like I said, he's pointing. He comes with an SMG. Again, not any modifications or anything to that guy, straight out the sprue. And that's the first 7-man team. So the next team up is pretty much identical to the last paratrooper infantry squad. Again, 7-man squad. I've kind of done a bit of an interesting modelling on this one, which you probably saw in the other one as well, the previous team. I did a little white fence just to make it a little bit more interesting on the LMG team. Here I've done a small bank and a shattered tree. Other than that, they're pretty much off the sprue. You will see that, eagle-eyed amongst you will see that some of the models have had arm swaps and weapon swaps. I find that the US Marine Corps sprue, very useful. You can take some of those with rolled up sleeves. As you can see, one of the guys there has rolled up sleeves. They interchange with the different sprues very well. So I've done that. And also the guy at the front with the binoculars, he's the NCO of the squad. You'll also notice there that he's got a captured MP40. Just like in the films from Band of Brothers, for example. Dick Winters landed, he landed with nothing but a knife, so he had to find an alternative weapon, which he did. You can also buy a metal team, I think, from Warlord with captured weapons. So that's my take on that for that one. So if I just show you very close up of the LMG team on this one, just to show you what I've done, just to make it a little bit more interesting. Rather than just have the team flat on the ground, I've done a small bank for them to sort of be firing up against, if you see there. And I'm holding the part of the shattered tree, which you probably saw. It just gives it a little bit more interest, I think, rather than just laying on the ground. So that's that team. Next up, we have another 7-man squad of paratroopers. These ones haven't got an accompanying LMG team. They have just got rifles, an SMG for the NCO, and no LMG support there. So basically some of these are modified figures. Again, only kit bash, there's no major modifications here. Anybody could do these, they're really quite simple. I'll just take you through a couple just to show you exactly how simple they really are to do. So this guy here, I'm going to pick up, he's throwing a grenade. So I've given him arms from the US Marine Corps set. Now this is a grenade throwing arm with his sleeves rolled up. Very easy to do. In fact, I don't even think I had to put any filler on that. It just went together very well. And he's clutching a carbine, which you can see there if I tip. Again, I think that's another US Marine Corps arm. They fit together really well, they interchange very well. The NCO pointing, standard pointing NCO, they've all got a point for some reason. I just think they look better that way anyway. So this guy again is arms from the US Marine Corps. He's holding a Thompson there and he's pointing with his pointy hand to indicate that he's an NCO. The last one I'm going to show you is this guy here. Now he has a wounded head. Again from the US Marine Corps, I believe. I think it's from the Marine Corps sprue, but it goes on because I kind of wanted to model this guy as though he'd landed, hurt himself, but carried on with the fight, being a brave paratrooper that he is. And the eagle-eyed amongst you will notice he has a captured Gewehr 43, which again, like I said, they landed sometimes and lost all their kit and had to make do with whatever they could find. So this guy's managed to commandeer a Gewehr 43. Next up, we have a small Pathfinder unit. They are armed with 2 SMGs and the rest are with rifles and carbines. I've kind of given them a bit of a mix. You can see one guy's still retaining his helmet. The other 5 I wanted to show as Mohawks. I know technically not all the Pathfinder units in D-Day had Mohawks. In fact, I think there was only a certain unit that had them. The name of it escapes me at the moment, so forgive me for that. I'm sure there'll be people out there who will be able to tell me the actual name of who they are. I want to say Dirty Dozen, but I know it's not that. It's something else, Filthy 15 or something like that. I wanted to use my Pathfinder units with Mohawks just so they were a little bit special. you know, they have slightly special rules as well, I think, if you go into the details on them for Pathfinders. So they would be, in essence, for my unit, they'd be the scouting sort of element of it, if you like. So again, they're pretty much out of the box, no real changes there, straight off the sprue, rather than off the box. But yeah, no groundbreaking changes there. You see the guy up with his fist up in the air at the front. Guess what? He's the NCO. So yeah, Pathfinder unit, very easy to do. Just for my reconnaissance. So next up, we've got 3 units here, 3 places on the roster anyway. So you have here a Jeep. You can use that for transporting small units around. For example, you've got a medic out the front there, and I'll give you a closer look at him in a minute. And then also you've got your 2-man light mortar team, 60mm airborne mortar, which is a 2-man squad. It's sometimes difficult to know what to do with the prone figures, because other than an LMG team, which is the obvious sort of loadout for them, it's difficult to know what to do with them. So I would have thought to keep using them and to use them up, just use them as part. I've used mine as part of the teamed weapons. So let's have a closer look at the medic, like I said. So this is a US Airborne medic. Now, I believe that later in the war, maybe in the Japanese campaign, the medics didn't have any identification on them because they became targets. But I'm thinking Normandy they did. I mean, somebody's bound to correct me on that if I'm wrong, so please feel free to if you want to. So I've hand painted the armband on there just to get in a bit closer on that, focus on that. He's also got a cigarette in his hand, and just to make him more of a medic-y type person, I've given him, if we spin that round, 2 water bottles. I believe a lot of medics did carry 2 water bottles, one for like any injured patient they were going to deal with, and also one for themselves. So it was extra water. I'm pretty sure they carried that. I've seen that somewhere. And also he's got a commando knife there on his leg, and Medipack on his helmet. So that's the medic. Bit of a closer look at the 60mm mortar, sorry, not 61. So you can see there, it's the mortar, and what I've done here, I've converted this guy slightly by using one of the arms off the 8th Army, which is holding the mortar shell, and I believe the other one's the 8th Army as well, which I think is actually the whistle arm on that one, for those of you that know the 8th Army sprue. But I've cut the whistle off and it just looks like he's shouting with his mouth open, and he's got a mortar shell in his hand. So that's that guy. And then he's number 2 on the mortar is just the other guy lying down. So that's 3 of the units there. That's 3 more of the units for the army. So we now move to some support elements. This is a 75mm howitzer. It's the airborne variety. I believe some of the 75mm came with a gun shield, but I'm reliably informed that due to the weight, they used to take the gun shield off for parachute drops. So somebody please again correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I'm led to believe. So that's the gun crew for that. Also, what comes with the kit is metal. Not a big fan of metal figures, like many people aren't, so I like to do mine plastic. And also there's a big argument or discussion around the US Airborne sprues uniforms. I don't think they're really technically, historically accurate for Normandy. However, I've used the plastics in the majority of my army, and I wanted that theme to follow through the whole of the army. So I've done some conversions or some kit bash just to make the crew for this. So the guy up front with binoculars, straight off the sprue, you can do that. It's not hard at all. You don't need any extra bits from the US kit for that. The other 2 are slight modifications. You can see the guy who's operating the breach. Both of his arms come from the US Marine Corps sprue. Like I said earlier, a very useful sprue. The other guy who is loading, and if you can see close up, I'll just bring that in, he's actually got a shell in his hand. Now that shell, I had to shape that and make it. It originally comes from the British 8th Army light mortar guy, and it's the guy holding the mortar tube. Now I've cut that down and shaped it to look like a 75mm shell. Probably not accurate, but hey, you know what, it looks good for me and I'm happy with that, so that's good. And the other arm is also from the British 8th Army. Again, another useful sprue. So that is the 75mm howitzer. This brings us to the sniper team. Now this is an airborne sniper team. You can get a metal airborne sniper team, but like I've mentioned previously about the uniforms, I wanted to keep mine all of a similar vein. So they're all in the plastic airborne. These are actually two plastic prone figures from the sprue. One's got a set of binoculars that he's looking through, the spotter, and the other guy, you can see there, has got a Springfield rifle with a scope on it. Now that comes again from the US Marine Corps sprue, because they come with a separate weapon sprue, and you can actually get a Springfield rifle in there. And I believe that they did use Springfield rifles as sniper rifles as opposed to the Garand, which was a semi-automatic weapon. You could fire that a lot faster than you can a bolt action rifle like the Springfield was. Maybe it was more accurate. Again, somebody out there will know. I don't know, but I've modelled it as historically accurate as I can. So let's have a quick look at this, because I've built this slightly different to give it a little bit more interest, a bit like the fence and the shattered tree on the LMG teams. So let's have a quick look at this. So I've done this on a small bank because it gives them a bit of cover, or I'd imagine they'd have got a slightly elevated firing position. So you can see there's a few rocks there, grass and what have you. And yeah, that's that conversion. Not too difficult to do. And finally, last up for the units is a little bit of anti-tank support for the airborne units. You've noticed that the army doesn't carry any bazookas, so I've issued them with a Hellcat. As you can see, it's not completely finished yet. There's still bits and pieces to do on it, like the gun cover needs painting and some details need painting on it. But that's going to be the anti-tank capability of the army, and that takes us up to 1,000 points. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. It's like I said, 1,000 points US Airborne around the D-Day Theatre. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. Equally, if you don't like it, give me a thumbs down. It's a complete army now. Just got a few touching ups to do on it. So thanks for watching. Again, if you enjoyed it, like and subscribe please, if you could. All helps. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Okay, bye for now.